Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video. And well, I've been digging into another tape I've been showing in one of my short videos like a while ago when I talked about how cassette tapes and like copies of radio shows and stuff were our musical lifeline of the 90s. And I'm talking about this one. You probably cannot see much on here, simple blank tape, which I found in my collection, which just says MDR SPUTNIK 04 1997, a BASF tape, which were more or less the standard tapes at the time for me to copy stuff on, and this is a Faro 1 extra cassette, and I've been listening to this throughout the past 1.5 hours because it's a 90 minutes tape. And try to find out what this is, because when I unearthed this from the box, as I mentioned in the short, I will post in the end card as well, or link in the end card. I didn't have any clue what is on there, but now I do. And this is an interesting flashback because the first half of the tape, basically, or the first 50 minutes, are a radio show that was like done by the Jazzanova guys, which are the guys who are doing the Jazzanova label basically and the production stuff. And this took me way back to this was aired like a month before I moved back to Hamburg, and MDR SPUTNIK was like transmitting from Berlin. So this took me back to an era when I attended the Tempelhof a lot, which was a Hamburg-based club, my favorite club at the time, and probably the best electronic music club we had in town. And one of the resident DJs was Barbara Hallamar. The club was owned by a guy called Zoran Supanic, which I became friends with over time. And this club was very much focused on resident DJs. So we had like 2 DJs playing on a Friday night and 2 others on a Saturday usually. And this club had an approach of playing basically everything in electronic music over the course of an evening. And this is basically what the Jazzanova radio show is doing here as well. So it starts out with some like really nice, jazzy, organic jungle drum and bass mixture, like it's 1997. So the transformation into drum and bass has been made, but drum and bass hadn't become that like super dark and heavy and technical as it became later. So there was like junglistic elements, a lot of like classic rolls, a lot of jazzy elements, a lot of organic vibes in here. And this is what the tape starts with. Then like makes a move. I don't know, I'm still fascinated by how they were doing the transitions from track to track, because they don't sound forced, but then it moves into like house, broken house territories at the time. Then there is like a trip hop section where they are playing stuff from DJ Shadow's Introducing album, and also which was a track I was very much fascinated by at the time, and was very glad when it was featured on one of the Future Sound of Jazz compilations later. Is Black Jazz Chronicles Spirit, which was this like drill and bass adjacent, not really drum and bass, but jazzy, very fast, high speed, with the word spirit time stretched in a very distinct way. So this was always one of the favorite tracks for me on this tape basically. That was on there. Then was like Hip Hop by Kill Army, Wu-Tang Renegades, which is also a record I later found like years later, because there were, okay, that title is mentioned, but usually in those radio shows there were like only like sections of DJ mixes, and none of the guys who were doing the mixes were like talking about the music much. But Kill Army Wu Renegades is basically one of my favorite hip hop records, which I first discovered on this tape as well. And then the second part of the tape, like switching sides, and then going into minute 50, 55, 60, there is like a section recording of a radio show that was the one transmitted after the Jazzanova show, which was more like classic hip hop, boom bap, a little bit of R&B, a little bit of yeah, trip hop, but not really trip hop with a rap like DJ Crush and all that kind of stuff. And on that sequence of the tape, there is stuff by Buckshot LeFonc, Music Evolution. There is Wyclef, John 316 with Soul Assassins, which was a project by DJ Muggs, and also Artifacts Ultimate, which is the street mix basically, which was played a lot according to the guy talking on the tape, because it had like a very distinct intro, like we are transmitting live via satellite and stuff. And yeah, this is a tape that I really enjoyed, and it very much reflected the approach of the Tempelhof Club I used to attend a lot when I had moved to Hamburg, like back to Hamburg in May of 1997, and went there like religiously, basically every week, until the club closed because there was some conflicts between the club and another guy who was selling like things on the street of Hamburg. So, but this club had also the approach, like as I said, to play like everything, starting with hip hop from house to drum and bass, but getting this all in, or fitting this all in one evening without it sounding forced, or like with like blends that didn't make sense, and like switching from one style to another like rapidly. It was all like a very organic build, and this is what I really enjoyed. And this is not a super formative tape for me, because it was too late. Basically in 1997 I was already, or I was turning 19 basically, so but still interesting stuff to listen to. And what would be interesting as well to find out where or which was the exact date of transmission, like according to the track list, because well, DJ Shadow, Black Jazz Chronicles, Kill Army, all that stuff that came out in that week or in that month, it should be able for someone who is like or someone who is like very into track listing tapes and radio shows, should be or could be able to pinpoint the exact date of transmission, which would be interesting to know. But this is just a like artifact from my past, another tape from the 90s, and while I'm filming this video I watched this guy outside going dark. It's super hot in Hamburg. Temperatures are like 40 degrees plus, I guess, and there is an announcement for a big thunderstorm and like probably heavy like lightning and rainfall and stuff. And throughout the past hour when I was listening to that tape, I like realized that the wind was getting heavier. There were gusts of wind, and now I look outside my window here and the sky is turning like really gray and in one direction. Like looking into the inner city from my balcony, I could see the sky turning like lead color basically. So this will be an interesting evening in terms of like watching like a thunderstorm unfold from my new flat for the first time. But this is one thing for later. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you have a recording of this, or if you're a member of the Jazzanova collective, by any chance, if you know that, if you can pinpoint that date of the radio show, please let me know and provide me with the proper track list, because there are more records on this tape I'd like to add to my collection at some point. So bass track here out with a little artifact. See you in the next one.